This joyful bunch of children represent an important segment of children, those belonging to migrant parents normally being completely sidelined in the entire gamut of education.
मैं तो 50 जगह दौड़ता हूँ, तो बच्चे लोग कहाँ कहाँ लेकर दौड़ेंगे साहब?
उन्होंने वो हेल्पर का काम किया तो हमको भी वही जगह पे खड़ा कर दिया.
Due to the migratory nature of their families, their educational needs were neither fulfilled in their village nor at the place they migrated to. Azim Premji Foundation, with its vision to provide quality universal education that facilitates a just, equitable and humane society, took up the challenge of facilitating access to education for the children of migratory families.
We found that these children are the most disadvantaged of the disadvantaged children.
They do not even figure on the census of the country because they are a floating population.
Premji Foundation is specifically focusing on equity. It made so much more sense to not leave these children out.
The foundation chose to focus on the children from the large number of migratory families serving the booming construction industry.
So the Premji Foundation had approached us and it seemed like the natural thing to do.
The parents are working with us, and I think education is really the most important thing. These children have to reach a level which is better than their parents.
This has resulted in the formation of schools functioning on 2 construction sites in Bangalore. One at Windmill Site Whitefield in Bangalore, in partnership with Total Environment Building Systems Private Limited, and the other in partnership with Epsilon Ventures Private Limited at Yamloor, Airport Road, Bangalore. The most important stakeholders of these schools were the parent community of these children.
Basically, ಆ ಪೋಷಕರಿಗೆ ಈ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಅರಿವಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಭವಿಷ್ಯ ಏನಿರಬೇಕು, ಯಾವ ಥರ ಇರಬೇಕು, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಮನವರಿಕೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ತುಂಬ ಹತ್ರ ಆದರು. 3 ತಿಂಗಳಿಗೊಮ್ಮೆ ಅವರ ಸಭೆಯನ್ನು ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸಭೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಶಾಲೆ ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಇದೆ, ಯಾರಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಇದೆ, ಏಕೆ ನಾವು ಇದು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ.
ಇದು ಸಾಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕಚಡದಾಗ ಬೀಳ್ತಿದ್ವು, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಹತ್ರ ಬೀಳ್ತಿದ್ವು, ಮ್ಯಾಲೆ ಕಲ್ಲು ಬೀಳ್ತಿತ್ತು, ಮಣ್ಣು ಬೀಳ್ತಿತ್ತು, ಬಡತನ ತಿಪ್ಪಲ.
ಕಂಪ್ನಿ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಆಗಿದ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಲ ಈ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಸಮಯಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ ನಾವು.
ಓದಿದ್ರೆ ಸೈನಿಕ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಸರ್, ಜಗ್ಗೆ ಕಲಿಬೇಕು ಸರ್, ಜಗ್ಗೆ ಕಲಿಬೇಕು ಸರ್.
Week or 2 weeks, new children were coming. What sort of curriculum? What sort of things to teach them?
What is it that regular schooling gives a regular normal child at the end of primary education? Our children or these children need to develop similar and the same competencies at similar learning levels so that they are capacitated enough to continue with schooling later in a regular mainstream school. But the emphasis is more on familiarizing the child with the basic concepts and building clarity about the concept in many ways.
Here, the children are divided into 3 groups. The children below 3 years. The days are spent in free play with toys and sand. The team sings action songs with them and plays plenty of games that require them to use all their muscles in a gentle manner. The emphasis here is on fun, stimulation, visual, auditory and tactile exercise. The team also tells them stories and has plenty of conversations with them. They also sleep a lot. The group between the ages of 3 and 6 years, the focus has been on self-care skills like eating, dressing, using the bathroom, general cleanliness and hygiene, and motor skills. Language and communication skills are developed through conversation, comprehension, and verbal vocabulary. Social skills like sharing, taking turns, understanding the rules of a game or an activity are learnt as part of joyful experience.
ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅವರಿಗೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಆ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ.
Basic concepts like identifying objects and pictures, recognizing shapes and colors, discriminating between sizes, and quantity are taught in a methodology of mutual involvement. The group above 6 years, days are spent with a lot of games, song, dance, art, craft, discussions and conversations.
ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಕಥೆಗಳು ತುಂಬ ಗೊತ್ತು ಹೌದಾ?
Story sessions are magical. Often the teachers would tell a story halfway and ask the children to think of possible endings for the story. Their thoughts are very interesting and creative.
ಆನೆ ಮತ್ತು ಸಿಂಹಕ್ಕೆ ಜಗಳಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿದ್ದಿದ್ದು ಎರಡು. ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾರೋ ಹೆಲಿಕಾಪ್ಟರ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಫೋಟೋ ಹೊಡೆದು ಅವ್ರು ಫೋಟೋ ಹೊಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅವ್ರ ಕಣ್ಣಿಗೆ ಫೋಟೋ ಕುಕ್ಕದಂಗೆ ಆಯಿತು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ.
Mathematics is introduced through the use of the children's experience with materials, measurements, money and going to the market. These children have set up a little bank using a box to put their money in and a book where each child has their account. This helps them to learn addition, counting and checking for errors.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಶೈಕ್ಷಣಿಕ ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಅಂಶಗಳನ್ನು ಕಲಿಬೋದು, ಆದರೆ ಕಲಿಕೆಗೆ ಈ ಥರದ ಶಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲಿಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂಥ ಅಂಶಗಳನ್ನು ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಕಲಿಯಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಗು ಕಲಿಯುತ್ತೋ ಅಷ್ಟನ್ನೇ ಕಲಿಯುವಾಗ ನಾವು ತುಂಬ ಸವಾಲುಗಳನ್ನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎದುರಿಸ್ತೀವಿ.
ಕಣ್ಣಿಂದ ನೋಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೈಯಿಂದ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಮತ್ತು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಅವಧಾನ ಏಕಾಗ್ರತೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ನೋಡ್ತಾರೆ ಕಲಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡೋದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಆದರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಕಲಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡೋದೇ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದರಿಂದ ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಕಲಿಕೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
ಈ ಶಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬ ಚಂದ ಇದೆ, ತುಂಬ ಪ್ರೀತಿಯಿಂದ ಕಲಿಸಿದ್ರು, ಅದೇ ನಮ್ಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಯಿತು.
Anybody who's trained to be a teacher could be a teacher at this school. It's not that you need anybody very different or from a different land to deal with these children, because these children are just like any other children.
The teaching staff here not just teaches, they learn, they play and they enjoy. They are supported by the active participation of volunteers. These schools have virtually become workshops for learning and developing life skills.
It's not that there are some new magical things that we are teaching which other schools are not or mainstream schools are not. I'm sure they're doing their job very well with the children that they have. But with these children, I'm convinced that it is the approach and the methodology that will make all the difference.
When we started off, it was very apprehensive, and today we look back and say, and when we hear of 7-8 students going to the mainstream, I think it's a very, very good thing that we have done, and a good cause.
We have something called the transition module. This module caters to the needs of those children who are prospective children to be mainstreamed in the near future. The transaction module does not look at so much of the content of what extra needs to be taught, but more in the way the children need to adjust to the new method of teaching in a regular mainstream school.
ಹಾಲಾದೆ ಕರೆದರೆ ಮೊಸರಾದೆ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಮೇಲೆ ಕೆನೆಗೆಡದೆ ಬೆಣ್ಣೆಯಾದೆ.
ಇವಾಗ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಕ್ಕಳು ನಮ್ಮಿಂದ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲಿಗೆ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಬೆಟರ್. ಇವಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ A+ ಗ್ರೇಡಲ್ಲೇ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ತಗೋತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮಾರು 6 ಜನ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ತುಂಬ ಕಲಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಂದುವರೆದಿದ್ರಿಂದನೇ ನಾವು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಾವು ಈ ತರಗತಿಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ.
ಕೆಲವು ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ 2 ತಿಂಗಳಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ನಮಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಏನೂ ಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಆ ಮಗುಗೆ ಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಿರಲ್ಲ, ಮತ್ತು ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತಲೂ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಒಂದು ಟ್ರ್ಯಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ.
ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಒಂದ್ಸಲ ಅವೇರ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಮಗು ಕೊಡಲೇಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅವೇರ್ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಪಕ್ಕ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಟಚ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆದರೂ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ನ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಈಗ.
ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮೇನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರೂ ನಾವು ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಫಾಲೋ ಅಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಮಗು ಹೇಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು.
I think in order to get anything of this nature going and successful, we need all the stakeholders buy-in. This, of course, being the child and the parent primarily. But beyond that, the buy-in of the builders and the conviction that education for these children is as important.
Even if you want to start with very selfish motives and look at the kind of worker that you will be able to attract to your site, doing something like this will help.
I think if all developers do have some sort of system, then it's easier to get them into education.
You don't have to spend a lot of time. There's a little bit of time investment from them. And the reward that the entire organization gets is tremendous. And you yourself can feel very good that you have made a contribution to something that is the future of the country.
ಕಲಿತಾ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಆಗ್ತೀವಿ, ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಆಗ್ತೀವಿ, ಏನೇನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಓದೋದು, ಸಾರಾಗೋದು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಸರ್.
The lessons learned in these schools had helped to evolve a methodology and curriculum to address the issue of providing access to quality education for primary schooling of children of the migrated families and to capacitate them to join the mainstream. The fact is, children do not belong to any family, they belong to the nation. Efforts like this must be nurtured, supported, and multiplied to reach the goal of our nation, education for all.